Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz on May 10, 2016 at 4:39 a.m. Birmingham. And topic, is this Armageddon or gateway to hell? This is about the fire in Mcmurray, Alberta, Canada. And you got to hear some of this. I just watched several blogs, and I watched one that had no sound, but I just watched it and narrated it, so you'll hear that. May the 2nd may be the day that it started, which is on a Monday. May the 8th, Mother's Day. At that time, they believed that everything that was hot that could be burned in certain areas of the city have burned, so therefore there's little fuel left in those areas to reignite. And it started moving east at that point, and it stands at that. 88,000 people evacuated, 1,500 homes and businesses, and up to 1,400 of those were probably homes. And unknown numbers of automobiles. And one guy had a bunch of them, but one guy had a dash cam on, and I watched. And this guy, he couldn't hardly talk. All he would say is, "Oh my God, oh my God." But it looked like live embers, and of course it was, falling onto his car, but they were just coming out of everywhere, not any direction, just everywhere. And they were exploding on his car like cherry bombs. Boom. And you can well guess as to if it hit a house with shingle roofing or some kind of wood roofing. Wow, there's the fire right there. I mean, it just started. And I'll give you the progression of it in a little bit, but one guy put on the time his home recorded when, I guess it's an automatic timer or automatic thing. When something outside moves, the security system comes on and starts recording, and this is apparently what happened. And so let me tell you about that. John Knox, one more thing. He's the one that interviewing with a TV station. He said, "My God, it feels like Armageddon out here." And they asked him where he was staying. He said, "I was at the Super 8. And a check on the map will show you that Super 8 is no longer there." So he left that morning, and it burned while he was gone. Unbelievable. Somebody said that they saw a person running through the neighborhood starting houses on fire, when in fact it was these flying cherry bomb type embers that was hitting houses and starting fires. So these are the first responders that was doing all this. But let me give you the thing about the windows. And doggone it, I don't remember where I started that. But anyway, here it is. He watched, this is one guy, it looks like a gateway to hell. He watched through his home security, and that was all he said. And he put that 5-minute, 2 seconds up. So I'm looking at it, and what I'm seeing is look like large black things out of those two windows. One is a standard, like a 2.5 feet by 6 tall, and the other is a picture window, looked to be about 6 feet tall and 5 feet wide, maybe 4, something like that. But as they rushed by the large windows, these black things in his home, it looked like a black hell was with moving figures in it. As his large black figures began to pound the windows, you begin to see the ceiling above large windows, and they're beginning to slowly crinkle like some heavy weight is on it. Not like a fire, it didn't look like that. And so we're watching this. Excuse me. Now these black figures started banging the windows. It shakes, it cracks, then you see some yellow color inside the black. As the black pounds and breaks the outer pane, the yellow begins to hit harder. And this is still outside the house, and that was at 1 minute and 46 seconds. At 2 minutes and 86 seconds, finally, that pane totally exploded. I mean, disappeared. And then you had another pane left. You had a clear view again of outside. And again, here we see big black figures just pounding and rushing by the windows. And so then at 2 minutes, 18 seconds, the entire window exploded and vanished. The black pours in and begins to fill the room. And at 2 minutes and 41 seconds, another window out of view exploded as the that you couldn't see is off to the left. And then the smoke alarms sound. The first alarm, the first one, boom, it started sounding at 2 minutes, 41 seconds. Then the smoke starts building in the room. And at 2 minutes, 46 seconds, then other alarms are sounding. And now the room is already 2/3 full of smoke from the ceiling downward. 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Multiple alarms now sounding. Room, 3/4 of the room is now filled with black smoke. And still only through the window opening you see the yellow flashing into the room at 3 minutes and 1 second. A fish tank sitting by the window full of water and fish, still with power on it. And then 3 minutes and 7 seconds, the lens on the security camera shatters. 3 minutes, 11 seconds, room 80% black. Only yellow can be seen through what was the window, and you can see a light glare just a little bit, then you see the yellow enter that white area. And so now you're barely visible. The window at the room at 3 minutes, 31 seconds goes black. Alarms quit, and then battery grid kicks on. And then once again, some of the alarms starts going on and off. And the security camera is still running on auxiliary power. Power's off to the house. Everything else is dead. And so this continues. And then at 4 minutes, 42 seconds, alarms died. You can hardly hear. There's one alarm left, just a slow beep, and then it stopped. 5 minutes, 5 seconds. The camera went blank. And what I can gather, put together, and adding their hectares and all these things and the kilometers, and figuring up a hectare, and that hectare, 1 hectare is 2.47 acres, and you have 640 acres per square mile, and you figure this, 6,250 square miles burned around and in the town of Fort McMurray in Canada. And on Mother's Day, they were given the latest reports. Have not heard a report Monday. And at that point, they kind of did not verify. They said, we were not busy counting, we were busy trying to save. So they did not go in and count the homes. They said it's still not safe. The fires are still not out in the city. He said they protected the best they could. The schools, the churches, glad to hear the churches, these power grids, and the water filtering plant and schools and anyway, things like this, the hospitals. And their main goal, again, was protecting, not counting. And it was the worst disaster, is the worst disaster in Canadian history. The fire had turned to the east, and it's moving through 3 different land preserves at the moment. And the fire, once again, has burned another same amount as it has already burned. And it's like an added 7,000 square miles. And wow. I guess to these people, it's, they lost all they had except what was in the bank and money they can reprint. And they have 200 helicopters, heavy lift, 44 large, these C10 or D10 loaders or dozers on the ground, 222 other pieces of heavy equipment, 27 air tankers, and 30 of them, 30 transports, 30 transports. 31 of 34 fires as of last night, Mother's Day. 34 on 1 of 34 are not contained, but they're cut out. So they're dividing the fires into smaller fires, and they're succeeding into doing that. And but the 2 larger fires that are more east are raging on, and they're just plowing through the 3 large land, river, wildlife preserves, mostly wetlands. And then they said we expect a cold front in here today. It's Monday, or I'm saying today. They said tomorrow, and that'll Monday and Tuesday they expect. Tuesday they'll have a better handle on see what's going on, and then they can start a process of cleaning up. And she said it. Well, other people said that they've never seen anything like it, and I can only imagine that they were going through hell in Mcmurray, Alberta, Canada. And this is north, a good piece north of Washington State in Montana. The fire is probably straight up from Montana now, but a good piece north of Montana the way it's moving. Don't expect it will come to Montana. You have the Canadian Rockies, and that would be an absolute fire break, they hope. Jody Wolf Expoz.